I had watched some of your Broadway interviews, and and it's cool because of the style you do. How you just walk up to people and do it on the side of the street. How do you? I think it's a 3-part question. How do you get the people to agree to even do the interviews?
The good part about that is that sometimes, like, when people, like, let's just say if I was interviewing you, they'll see the flash, they'll see the light, they might see us having a good time.
Yeah.
They'll get the flocking. Like, my first time ever doing a Broadway interview, I didn't have to ask nobody the whole night. Everybody was coming and seeing.
They just wanted to be on camera.
You know what I'm saying? They were like, dude, what's going on? I'm telling them, they're like, turn it on right now.
Yeah.
Now, as far as getting them to agree to it, I let them know. I try to be as upfront and very transparent with everybody that I've ever interviewed.
Yeah, I'm saying that because at this point, everybody that you probably interviewed has seen some type of media like that on YouTube, and they don't, some of them are pranks, some of them are cool questions, some of them asking.
Then that's why I be warning them, like, look, I don't tell them exactly what I tell them or ask them, but I have a list. Like, it might be what's 1 + 1, and then it might be what's your favorite position in the bedroom. Like,
I seen the question was
random.
What I'm saying?
Like, I warn them beforehand, so it's not like they are caught off guard. They just don't know
exactly what's being asked. Yeah. Okay, what's the difference between, I guess, this is what we was getting into earlier. What is the difference between the two types of interviews that you've done versus the Broadway interviews versus the actual sit-down podcast interviews?
What's the difference?
Yeah. I think you was getting into that earlier.
The vibe and the setup. Definitely the vibe and the setup for sure. And obviously the questions.
Yeah. Is it easier to ask the Broadway questions versus the actual podcast settings, seeing as though everybody's out already having a good time, ready to talk, all of that? Is it easier to walk up to the strangers and do the podcast, or is it easier to do the sit-down podcast?
I say it's like 50-50 for sure. Yeah, it's definitely even because you got to always be in the back of your mind, or really the front. You got to be like, all right, bet I could walk up on this stranger and make a tweet. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Or you could spend all this time doing this research on whoever you're doing, because I don't know about other people, but I like to do research on people before I interview them.
So how do you do that as far as the Broadway interviews where you don't really get to do any of that? Or is it just how you do the question?
Point them out.
Got you.
Pick them out, point them out. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay. From the Broadway interviews that you have posted, what are some of your favorite interviews that you've done with people on the street? If you remember any.
I can't really say that because it, like, they all, like, I went on Friday nights, and each Friday night was a different Friday night.
Yeah.
It's a complete, obviously it's a different day in a different week, but like, Broadway is never the same.
Yeah.
Like,
so you get new content
every day, every Friday. So even you can go in the, like, during the daytime. I done went at 12 o'clock in the morning, or in the evening, and I done went 12 o'clock in the morning. You'll see, like, your granny and them out having brunches and shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But then you'll see that same group of grannies out going club hopping at 12 o'clock.
So where would you get the best interaction and the best footage from? Daytime interviews on Broadway or nighttime?
Nighttime for sure.
Nighttime?
Yeah, it be going
when
down.
Everybody loose.
Yeah. Nighttime is lit. I ain't gonna lie. And anybody that's ever been with me, nighttime, like, they just from seeing shit on their own, they could tell you, like, and then just my personal interactions that I've had, like, with people, like, it's crazy. Like, shit, even going and seeing people that you know down there, that shit's crazy, because then they be like, oh, I want to get in an interview and shit like that. And, like, I done have people that I worked with be in my interviews.
Yeah.
It's crazy, bro.
Nah, that shit hard, though. All right, what if there was any advice you could give somebody wanting to start a podcast now that you getting into it? What type of advice, or if any, would you give somebody wanting to start or get into doing podcasts?
I'm gonna narrow it down, broaden it. Let me say that I'm gonna broaden it more than just a podcast.
Yeah.
When it just comes to YouTube, what I like to tell people, grab a phone, record,
and get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the more time you procrastinated is the more time that somebody else is taking subscribers away from you.
Exactly.
Now, I might not have the most. I have like 78 on my podcast, and I got 1K on my main.
Yeah.
I'm not Mr. Beast out here, but like I've realized after posting consistently on my main account for 3 years, just post.
Yeah.
They're like it's either gonna hit or it's not. The worst it can do is not. The best it can do is hit. I done had my highest video is like 60,000 views.
Yeah.
So like
YouTube is a hitter.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
But to your point, what you were saying about just getting the phone and recording, what I do is when I go to YouTube, there's 3 tabs at the top. I think it's popular, newest, and oldest. I always click on oldest to see where everybody actually started at. See, I think the problem with everybody doing is they seeing the videos people dropping today.